Hello students, welcome to today's lecture. In the previous lecture, we have studied the orbital and spin angular momenta for single electron atoms. Based on that, we have studied the fine structure of hydrogen atom. We seen that the coupling between the orbital and spin angular momenta for an electron gives rise to the total angular momenta, which results in the splitting in the energy levels. In this lecture, we will study the total angular momentum of many electron atoms and coupling schemes. So, we will study the total angular momentum and various coupling schemes like LS coupling and JJ coupling. So, what is angular momentum? Angular momentum or rotational momentum is a rotational equivalent of linear momentum. If a body of mass m is rotating about an axis at a distance r, then the angular momentum of the body is given by L is equal to r cross mv, which is equal to r cross p. The orbital angular momentum, like the linear momentum, is a vector and is denoted by L vector. Its direction is given by right hand rule and it is directed along the axis of rotation. In addition to the orbital angular momentum, the electron also possesses the spin angular momentum due to its spin, which is denoted by S vector. The coupling between orbital and spin momenta of the electron gives rise to the total angular momentum J. The spinning of top remains upright. The spinning top remains upright while spinning due to the effect of angular momentum. The spinning top remains upright while spinning due to the conservation of its angular momentum. That means an electron moving in its orbital about a nucleus possesses orbital angular momentum. The orbiting electron also possesses the spin angular momentum. When there are two or more electrons, the orbital and spin angular momentum of each electron contribute to the total angular momentum of the atom. Let us consider the contribution of two or more electrons in the outer shell of an atom to the total angular momentum of the atom. There are two methods in which we can sum up the orbital and spin momentum of the several electrons. They are called as coupling schemes. So, first one is the LS coupling and another one is the JJ coupling. Let us see one by one. So, let us first see the LS coupling, or it is also called as Russell-Saunders coupling. In this method, we first sum the orbital contributions and then the spin contributions separately, and finally add the total orbital and spin contributions to reach the grand total angular momentum J. This method is also known as Russell-Saunders coupling. It gives the results in agreement with the spectra of small and medium sized atoms. Another coupling scheme is JJ coupling scheme. In this method, we sum up the orbital and spin momenta for each electron separately and get the total angular momentum for each electron. Then we sum up these orbital and spin momenta for each electron to get the grand total angular momentum J of the atom. So, this method applies better to the large size atoms. Now, let us study the summation of orbital contributions. So, an electron moving in its orbital about a nucleus possesses orbital angular momentum. The orbital angular momentum of the electron is denoted by L vector and expressed in terms of L value, that is the orbital quantum number of the corresponding orbital. That means the orbital angular momentum is given by L vector and it can be expressed in terms of the L value, that is the orbital quantum number of the corresponding orbital. The orbital angular momentum is quantized and it is usually expressed in terms of unit h upon 2 pi, where h is Planck's constant. When we have two or more electrons, the orbital angular momentum for each electron points in different directions. So we can add up the orbital momentum for two or more electrons by several ways. So there are two methods by which we can deduce the various allowed values of J vector for particular L vector and S vector values for electron. These methods are vector summation and summation of individual quantum numbers. And third one is the summation of Z component. So let us first see the vector summation. In this method, the two vectors L1 vector and L2 vector are added in order to get the resultant L vector, capital L vector is equal to L1 vector plus L2 vector. So this is done with the laws of vector addition. So this L1 vector is the orbital angular momentum for the first electron and L2 vector is the orbital angular momentum for the second electron. So we can do the summation with the laws of vector addition, so that the resultant we express as L vector is equal to square root of L into L plus 1 values, where L takes values such as 0, 1, 2 up to infinity. Therefore, L vector takes values as 0, square root of 2, square root of 6, square root of 12 for different L values ranging from 0 to infinity. For example, summation of angular momentum for P and D electron, that is, for P electron we have L1 is equal to 1 and L2, for D electron L2 is equal to 2. So L1 vector is equal to square root of 2 and L2 vector is equal to square root of 6, right? So when we do the summation by using the parallelogram law of vector summation, we get L1 vector and L2 vector as two sides of the parallelogram, and we get the diagonal of the parallelogram as a resultant vector. So resultant vector is L vector is equal to square root of 10. We can do the summation by different ways and we get different values, right, depending on the orientations of two vectors, and we get different values of L vector. So this is L vector is equal to square root of 6, here L vector is equal to square root of 12. So we get three values of L vector as square root of 12, square root of 6 and square root of 2 corresponding to the quantum numbers L is equal to 3, 2 and 1, right. So this method is called as vector summation. By this method we apply the laws of vector addition in order to get the resultant vector, capital L vector. Another method is summation of individual quantum numbers. In this method we add the individual quantum numbers L1 and L2 to obtain the total quantum number L. The quantum number L can take values as L is equal to L1 plus L2, L1 plus L2 minus 1 up to mod of L1 minus L2. The modulus sign indicates that we have to take the positive value. Thus for the two electrons we get twice Li plus 1 values of L, right, and where Li is the smaller of the two values, right. It is the simplest method among three methods, but only applicable when concerned electrons have different n or different L values, that is, they are non-equivalent electrons. If n and L are same for two electrons, they are termed as equivalent electrons. In that case, we have to use the third method. So let us study one example. For example, P and D electron. For example, for the P electron, that is L1 is equal to 1 and for the D electron L2 is equal to 2. The quantum numbers L can take values as L is equal to L1 plus L2, L1 plus L2 minus 1 up to mod of L1 minus L2. Therefore, we get L is equal to 1 plus 1, 1 plus 2 minus 1 up to mod of 1 minus 2, right. So we get three values as 3, 2, 1 for L, and thus for the two electron we get twice Li plus 1 values of L, where Li is the smaller of the two values. Here L1 is equal to 1 is the smaller, hence we get 2 into 1 plus 1 equal to 3 values of L. Let us move to the third method, that is summation of Z component. In this method we could add the Z components of the individual vectors to get the Z component of the total momentum, and therefore we get the total momentum Lz is equal to summation over Lij right? So for example, for 2p electrons, that is L1 is equal to L2 is equal to 1, we have the components of L1 is equal to 1 as L1Z is equal to -1, 0 and +1. So please remember this L1Z is our magnetic quantum number M or ML, right? While components L2 is equal to 1 as L2Z is equal to -1, 0 and +1, right? So taking all the possible sums of Lz, we get L1Z plus L2Z, and therefore we can write Lz, capital Lz, we take all the possible sums of these 6 values, and therefore we get 1 plus 1, 1 plus 0, 1 minus 1, 0 plus 1, 0 plus 0, 0 minus 1, minus 1 plus 1, minus 1 plus 0, and minus 1 minus 1. And therefore we get different values as Lz is equal to 2, 1, 0, minus 1, minus 2, 1, 0, minus 1 and 0. We can group these values into 3 groups, and we can see that the first 5 values correspond to L is equal to 2, right? The next 3 values, they are corresponds to L is equal to 1, and the last value corresponds to L is equal to 0. So in this way we can determine the values of L, that is orbital quantum number for the atom. From that we can easily calculate the orbital angular momentum. Now let us move to the summation of spin contributions. In the case of spin angular momentum, we can use the same 3 methods as discussed for the orbital angular momentum of many electron, right? Let capital S vector is the total spin angular momentum and capital S is the total spin quantum number, also called as total spin. So the first method is graphical summation. In this method we can sum up the 2 S vectors to get the resultant capital S vector, parallelogram law of vectors, provided the resultant vector is S vector is equal to square root of S into S plus 1, where S is either integral or 0 only if the number of contributing spins is even, or half integral only if the number of contributing spins is odd. Second method is summation of individual quantum numbers. In this method we add up the individual quantum numbers S for each electron to get the total quantum number capital S. Therefore for n spins we have S is equal to summation over Si, comma summation over Si minus 1, comma summation over Si minus 2, right? So we get S is equal to n by 2, comma n by 2 minus 1, comma n by 2 minus 2 up to half, that is for odd spins. In that case we get the last value as half, and if we get S is equal to n by 2 minus 1, n by 2 minus 2, the last value is 0 for even n, right? So if we have even spins, that means even number of contributing electrons, in that case we get the S as integral values, and if we have odd number of contributing electrons, in that case we get half integral values, right? That is S is either integral or 0 only if the number of contributing spins is even, or half integral only if the number of contributing spins is odd. This method is the simplest and always applicable. Let us take an example. For 2 electrons we have 2 possible states, right? So for 2 electrons we have the 2 possible states. S is equal to 1 half plus 1 half is equal to 1. That means the 2 electrons, they are parallel, right? And if they are paired or anti-parallel, in that case we get S is equal to 1 half plus 1 half minus 1 is equal to 0. That means in the case of spins, when spins are parallel, we get total S is equal to 1, and when these total spins are paired, we get S is equal to 0. In the first case the spins are parallel and therefore we write 2 up arrows, while in the second case the spins are paired or opposed, and therefore we write one up arrow and one down arrow. For 3 electrons, we may have, so S is equal to 1 half plus 1 half plus 1 half is equal to 3 by 2. That means 3 up arrows, and or S is equal to 1 half plus 1 half plus 1 half minus 1 is equal to 1 half. So that means 2 up arrow and 1 down arrow, or 1 up arrow, 1 down arrow and again 1 up arrow, or 1 down arrow and 2 up arrows, right? So we can have different orientations of the electrons, but we get only 2 values of S, so that is 3 by 2 or 1 half only. Now let us move to the third method, that is summation of Z components. In this method, the summation of individual Sz is taken to get the total Z component Sz. That means we get the total Z component for the spin angular momentum for the atom, capital Sz is equal to summation over Siz for individual electron. For example, for 2 electrons, we have the 2 possible states. S1Z is equal to S2Z is equal to 1 half or minus half, right? Only 2 possible states, and therefore we can write Sz is equal to 1 half plus 1 half is equal to 1, that is 2 parallel spins, or Sz is equal to 1 half minus 1 half, which is equal to minus 1 half plus 1 half is equal to 0. That means paired spins or anti-parallel spins, right? So for a given S, we have twice S plus 1 values of Sz. Let us now move to the total angular momentum, capital J vector. The total angular momentum of the electron is the sum of total orbital and total spin angular momenta. That is, J vector is equal to L vector plus S vector, where J vector is the total angular momentum of the atom. We can express J vector in terms of the total angular momentum quantum number J. So J vector is equal to square root of J into J plus 1 H upon 2 pi, which is equal to square root of J into J plus 1 units, where J is integral when S is integral and half integral when S is half integral. So we know that the total spin or total spin quantum number can take values as integral or half integral. So depending on the values of S, we get values of J, because L is always integral. We can write J in terms of the quantum numbers L and S as J is equal to L plus S, comma L plus S minus 1 up to modulus of L minus S. That means we take the positive value of L minus S. Let us take an example. For example, if for L is equal to 2 and S is equal to 3 by 2, we have J is equal to L plus S minus 1 up to modulus of L minus S, and therefore we get J is equal to 2 plus 3 by 2, 2 plus 3 by 2 minus 1 up to modulus of 2 minus 3 by 2, right? The modulus sign indicates that positive value only, that is the lowest value of quantum number J is given by positive value of L minus S, right? So lowest value we get is modulus of 2 minus 3 by 2. So we get J is equal to 7 by 2, 5 by 2, 3 by 2 and half. So we get 4 values of J, and the lowest value is the modulus of L minus S, that is here it is 2 minus 3 by 2 is equal to half. While if L is equal to 2 and S is equal to 1, we have J is equal to 2 plus 1, 2 plus 1 minus 1 up to 2 minus 1, and therefore we get 3 values of J as 3, 2 or 1 only, right? We can see in general there are twice S plus 1 values of J, that is twice S plus 1 energy states. That means in this case we have S is equal to 3 by 2, so we get 2 twice S plus 1, that means 2 into 3 by 2 plus 1, which is equal to 4 values, and therefore we get 4 values of J. In this case S is equal to 1, that means twice S plus 1 is 3, and we get 3 values of J. And since the number of J values is twice S plus 1, we get twice S plus 1 different energy states, right? the energy of the state depends on the total momentum. Hence, we have twice s plus 1 different energy levels. The quantity twice s plus 1 is called as multiplicity. So, what is meant by multiplicity? So, multiplicity is the number of possible energy states with different J. In general, if states with L greater than equal to S, multiplicity is equal to actual number of levels with different J. And if L is less than S, the number of different J values is equal to twice L plus 1 only. That means they are less than multiplicity. For example, if L is equal to 1 and S is equal to 2, there are only 3 different values of J. That means J is equal to L plus 1 to L minus S, and these 3 values are 3, 2 or 1. That is number of different J values is equal to 3, right? Whereas multiplicity is twice S plus 1 is equal to 5, right? So S is 2, that means multiplicity is twice S plus 1 is equal to 5. That means we get less values than the multiplicity, right? Because L is less than S, right? So in summary, we have learned about the total angular momentum and various coupling schemes like LS coupling and JJ coupling. And we also studied the contribution of orbital and spin angular momentum to get total angular momentum of the atom. In the next lecture, we will study what is term symbol and how to write term symbols. Thank you.